Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Every thumbs up is greatly appreciated.
We met a lot of really cool people last night. So we talked about Betcha. You know Taylor Noel?
Is that
His girlfriend?
Yes, she's so cool.
Her dad is Charles Eston.
Yes.
And we met him last night and chatted it up. It was a really good time.
Yeah, I met him as well, and he's so nice. They're such a good family.
And she said it was kind of disparaging because the show that she watches, he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
And you just hate him.
I know. And then he's so kind.
Yeah.
It was like such a trip.
Yes.
On TV, you're like, oh, he's evil. I know. But that's so funny you said that, because I was thinking the same thing when I met him. I was like, oh, like, you faked your death on TV.
Yeah. Yes, and he's looking better with age, like the Rob Lowe effect.
Oh, for sure.
He looks
Very
really
true.
good. You know,
He does.
the salt and pepper is
Oh,
coming
yeah.
back. Well, Linsey Urrea, hi.
Hello.
So good to have you over. Thank you for coming over. Really.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. And so is that a Brazilian? I do have a Brazilian origin or
I actually don't. I'm actually Mexican.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't look it at all, but yes, I'm half Mexican. My dad's full Mexican. That's where the last name comes from.
Okay. Do you speak Spanish?
A little bit.
Okay.
I can understand it a lot better than I speak it, but I grew up around it, so. But I've never been fluent. I'm still mad at my dad because he didn't teach us growing up, and that would have been so cool if I could just like whip out perfect Spanish.
Yeah, it's becoming. I think it's so useful, and it's such a beautiful language, and yeah, I think it's just so useful. And every time I've tried, I've fallen off the wagon and have hated myself for it.
Yeah.
But it takes so long.
I've been taking Spanish. Well, I graduated last year, but I literally took Spanish from 6th grade to my junior year of college, and I still like don't have it down.
Right.
And I'm so angry. I'm like, I've put in so many hours to this.
Yeah. Yes. And how did you do in school overall? Like in your formative years, you grew up in California?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
was it one of like those like outdoor kind of schools?
A little bit, yeah. We ate lunch outside every day. Yeah, I mean, I was always a good student. I always was involved in every music thing possible at my high school and in middle school, and actually went to a performing arts school for a year
Okay.
in California. I studied opera.
Nice.
Yeah, I've done all types of stuff. It was so funny. My senior year, it was like my schedule, I had like a 4.0, but that's because I was taking honors choir and honors vocal, like all these like singing classes. And my parents were like, you're doing so good this year. And I'm like, 'cause I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. It's all the same class basically.
Yeah. And then I went to Belmont for college, and
Yeah.
I loved Belmont. I think that was the first time in my life where I was involved in classes that I was passionate about. And I think that was so cool for me, because I've kind of always struggled in school. I just had to work 10 times harder than the next person. I just, math and stuff doesn't, the only subject I was good at was English. But I think that ties into like songwriting and
Man,
lyrics.
I
and
can
stuff.
relate to that so hard. I was a C&D student in high school, and I you know, this is before I had the maturity to apply myself. You know, I didn't learn that until like my early 20s. And just how to manage my short attention span, and you know, I have to move to think. You know, I'm a hands-on learner. I'm a former car mechanic.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think college is where you go to actually learn valuable shit, and that's when, you know, things start getting good from what I hear.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can really just kind of dial in. But you went to Belmont with not really like solo career aspirations, or
Not at all.
yeah, so remind me, were you looking to get into like the business side of things?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went to Belmont with no intention of doing music, which is really funny. I grew up around the industry a little bit because my brother, you know, he's been acting and doing music and all sorts of stuff since he was 8 years old. So I felt like I had such a cool perspective because I got to watch him do a lot of things right and do a lot of things wrong. And I got to like, I love to just sit in on his meetings, or like I'd have my mom add me to the phone calls with like his entertainment lawyer or his manager just so I could listen. I just thought it was all so fascinating, and I really thought that's what I was going to do. And I think it really just came down to confidence. I didn't have just the security yet in my abilities. And I got to Belmont and I did a couple internships, and I was like, I could write a song like that, or like I could sing something like that. And then I just kept getting pulled back to music. Like I sang at a bar, and then they like offered me a job on the spot, and then I like met this kid, and they were like, you should audition for this band. And I was like, maybe. Like, oh, okay, fine, I'll go check it out. They like wanted me to be the lead singer. Like, it was just every single time I even got close to music, it was just like magic, and it was starting to happen for me. So, and in high school, I've always been writing songs like since I was a kid, and my brother was in a band called Chump Change, and I wrote the lyrics of their music. And that was really cool for me in high school because I got to watch the songs I wrote be performed. And I wasn't necessarily having to perform them, which was like nice, but it also gave me confidence because I was like, oh wow, like this crowd is reacting so well to these songs that I wrote. And then I started to learn, like, okay, they didn't love this song, but they really loved this song. And what about that song was cool that they liked more than this song? And even when I got to Belmont, I kept finding myself in the piano rooms because I just like, I don't know. And then being around all these creative people. And I think it was really good for me too to be in Nashville, kind of far away from like everything. And it really gave me an opportunity to figure out what I want and like who I am. And and then Goodie Bag started, and it was like, I was so into it.
And your brother, Noah, is he older than you?
He's younger.
Younger.
He just turned 21.
Wow. And he looks like a talented individual. He looks like a model.
Oh, yeah, he's beautiful.
He looks like a model. He knows how to play guitar.
He can do it all.
He can do it all. Yeah, it's hard to compete with some of these kids, man. It's like
I know, right?
You know, these 19-year-olds are just like blowing me out of the water. 300,000 followers on TikTok. I mean,
well, they work really hard. I will say,
it's a lot of work.
As talented as my brother is, all those kids, and he's been in that group now, United, the past 4 or 5 years, and you know, it's easy to look at them and be like, wow, they have it all, but they work so hard. And especially my brother, like, I mean, they all work really hard, but I just see it firsthand with my brother. And there's so many hours that go into rehearsals, and he's missed out on so much, and voice lessons and auditions and hours upon hours upon hours of perfecting the craft. So, but it pays off. It's really cool to see it pay off too.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm interested in your in kind of the decision making that you went from Goodie Bag to solo. You know, kind of explain what that process was like. You know, you graduated, and then, you know, this is a really good time to interview you, by the way, because you just came out with your very first solo song.
Yes.
More Fun, which is fantastic.
Thank you.
Was that music video shot in New York?
It was actually shot in Brazil.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was super cool.
That's
yeah.
awesome. Okay, okay. So yeah, what was that transition like to go to solo?
Yeah, I mean, being in a band is hard, and it had nothing to do with, like, I love those guys. I still do, and I support them, and they're still doing music, and it's great. And I don't know, it really came down to just like, it was just it's just hard when you have to, you know, operate with 5 people at all times. At the time it was 4 people. We used to have 5 people, but it really came down to like, I just started being inspired by such a different sound of music, and I love what me and Goodie Bag did, and I'm so proud of that season of my life, but I just like wasn't aligning creatively anymore. And it doesn't mean that what they liked was better or what I liked was better, but I really started to dive into songwriting, like pop music, and Goodie Bag is so experimental and so cool. And we took a lot of risks with that music, and that's why it was very unique, and I loved it, and it taught me so much. But I don't know, I just got to a point where I just like had a vision for myself and for my future, and I had a team approach me about managing me, and we had a really great conversation about it, and they were supportive in whatever I wanted to do, but it was just the best decision for my career. And it was so hard, because those guys were like my family, and they still mean so much to me, and there's no bad blood, but I think it was just like the best move for me.
And why Nashville? Why not move back to California where all the cool people are?
I actually am moving back to California.
When?
On June 1st.
Get out.
I know.
Oh, I'm so glad I reached out in the time that I did.
Yeah.
This is, again, thank you so much.
Of course. No, I'm grateful to be here.
Wow, so you and Graham, both out in California.
I know. We just played a show together too.
Yes, yeah, we were there.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's
yes,
amazing.
it was a very good show.
Thank
very
you.
good show. So no instruments?
No.
don't
I've
play?
been spoiled my whole life because
Yeah.
Noah, he always played all the instruments, and he was just like, Linsey, melody and lyric, go. And I'm like, cool. And then I got to Belmont. I could kind of play piano, but so badly. It's so bad.
Yeah.
And I just like play enough to where I can crank out my ideas. But then when I got to Belmont, I had a band who were all incredibly talented. So I just never had to learn. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to learn guitar right now because it would probably just help me all around. And there are times where I get frustrated because I'm like in my room and I have this idea and I'm trying to figure it out on piano and I can't figure it out. So that's definitely my goal for this year is to get a little better at an instrument.
Music theory is really tricky.
I know.
I mean,
So hard.
there's college courses on it.
Yeah, I took piano at Belmont and got a C-.
Yeah, that and the harp, I feel like, you can study your entire life and never reach the end of that journey.
So true.
Okay, a little bit more about your personal life. So, pets. Do you got any pets currently, or did you grow up with any pets?
We always had dogs.
Yeah.
My mom, she buys like the same dog over and over again. It's like like a Shih Tzu Maltese or like a Shih Tzu Poodle, Shih Poo.
Yeah, a little dog.
Yeah, we always had these little dogs, and then I have no pets currently, but I did have a fish for a very long time, like 2 years. His name was Bowie. It was a betta fish. R.I.P. It was a hard season when he passed.
Yeah, I bet. So you're living in a house right now?
Mhm.
Big. That's big.
Yeah.
You're just renting.
Yeah, just renting. I've lived there for 2 years. With,
Wonderful. And tell me a little bit about your roommate.
Christina and Libby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have two. Yeah, they're my besties.
Yeah.
Great girls. Me and Christina have been friends. We met our sophomore year and like instantly just became great friends. Then I met Libby as well around that time. I think so. Or no, I met her junior year. But yeah, we're all great friends and I've had a lot of great memories in that house.
Yeah. Alrighty. So what are some of your core values, not just in the way that you go about your professional life, but also your personal life, like authenticity, transparency, that kind of stuff?
I wouldn't say that I'm like super religious, but I do believe in the power of good and the power of love and just leading with love. That's like what I try to live by, I mean, the older I get, the more I realize like everything is so gray in life. Like nothing is black and white. And we all screw up all the time, and we are all such complex humans. So on my little time on earth, if I can just love people regardless, because who am I to judge, and try to understand people to the best of my ability. I think that's what I really value. I value listening more than speaking, because I think we live in a time where everyone's trying to be louder than the next person. And I think when you really sit down with people and get away from social media and all the bullshit, and you really just, you could be so different on so many levels, but when you sit down with someone and look them in the eyes and like talk it through with them, you're going to find common grounds, you know. And so I really value just like being real and honest and leading with love and just trying to be like a force for good. Because we have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of hate.
Oh yeah, the world's on fire, and
It
I
really
think
is.
that we have more in common than we.
So much.
Yeah.
But
So
it's like we make it so messy.
yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like I mean, we all have our stances on things, but I love just sitting down with someone who feels differently than me and talking about it. And 9 times out of 10, we feel the same about so many things. And it's just like a minor detail that we don't.
Exactly.
But we're like, our hearts are in the same place. And I think like it's just sad because we are in a generation or in a time where we're making so many assumptions about the other person or the other party or the other side. And it's like 95% of those assumptions we're making aren't even true. We're just projecting them onto people. And I think that's why things have gotten so messy. And then on top of it, like social media, it's like, when has communicating over text ever done any good for anybody? When you're talking about like heavy topics, like you need to sit down and like see a human and look into their eyes and like connect, you know?
Exactly. And listening is different than hearing.
Absolutely.
And I learned that it really came in handy during the podcasting, you know, and everyone's on such an ego trip.
Yep.
And the egos in this city are just flying around like crazy. Nothing compared to LA, in my opinion. Not that I've spent much time there. So yeah, we're in hustle culture right now. I feel like if I'm not pursuing something creative, then I'm like falling behind, you know, or something like that.
Oh yeah. That's the music industry, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot.
A lot of egos. But I think egos come down to, I mean, a lot of the times it just comes down to insecurity. Like,
Yeah.
if you have an ego trip, you're having to convince everyone in the room that you're great. Why not just be great?
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. If you had the choice to be mega like Taylor Swift famous, let's say you knew it for a fact that you would be Taylor Swift famous in 5 to 7 years, is that something that you would dive into, or would you rather kind of, you know,
Be under the radar.
kind of be under the radar, a little underground, you know, or do you want the biggest thing you can get?
It's funny.
Where do you see yourself?
I know. I think about this a lot because, especially these last few years, my following, like, in, like, a year went from, like, 5K to 100K, and then so that was a lot for me because anyone who knows me, like, that's not my personality. Like, I'm not really the loudest one in the room, or, like, I'm kind of more reserved. So, yeah, I don't know. That's something I'm getting more comfortable with, like, especially when a lot of my following is from Brazil, and I went this year for the first time, and, like, it was my first time experiencing fame, or, like, people knowing who I was, and it was, like, so weird. I don't know. It was honestly such an eye-opening experience for me, and it really made me think, like, whoa, is this, like, what I want, you know? And I don't, all I know is I just, like, want to do music. Like, that's all that matters to me. That's all that's ever mattered to me. And I love writing songs, like, whether it's for me or for someone else. That's just where my heart is, and whatever comes with that is worth it to me, because, like, I just love what I do so much. And I mean, I quite literally haven't even, like, that's not even what goes through my mind when I think about my career. I'm thinking more like, you know, get a song on the radio, or, like, but then I forget, oh, there's so much that comes with that, you know? And I think too, it's been interesting trying to figure out, okay, like, I love writing songs. That's what I'm good at. I want to do this for a living, but what do I stand for? Who do I want to be to the public, you know? Because now that's required of artists, you know, to stand for things. And to be so much more than just the music. And so that's really what I've been trying to figure out this year, and especially since going solo. Because when you're in a band, you know, you're a collective and you're like, you have a support system. But when you're a solo artist, it's like, it's just you. And everything that happens is on you. And so it's been really interesting. And it's funny you asked that, because like the last week I've just been asking myself, like, who are you? Like, what do you stand for? Like, what do you want to share? And like, what part of you do you want to bring to light, you know?
And just like goals and values, I feel like, you know, every couple years that needs to be updated and refreshed and, you know, kind of like reinstated, because especially if you're on a path where there's so much competition and there's so much talent, you know, you need to kind of have an end goal to run towards, and also something to run from, actually. You know, it's easier to run from something than to run to something. But yeah, I mean, these are just questions that I'm just basically stealing from my therapist at this point.
What's his number?
She is wonderful. Oh my goodness.
I need to meet her.
Yes. Favorite Nashville food spots. What are you gonna miss when you leave here?
Dude, I've been like every day. I'm like, I gotta hit a spot. I'm running out of time. Oh man, Bar Taco has my heart. Their spicy margarita every single time. Their pork belly taco. Shout out to y'all. Y'all really did something there. Hawkers, bomb. Greco was there last night. Bomb. Oh my God, Hattie B's, classic.
Overrated.
Oh, I beg to differ, but I didn't grow up around like hot chicken, so to me it's great. But
Prince's is the original. Shout out Prince's.
Oh, I gotta go there.
They're OG and way spicier.
I also really like McDougal's.
McDougal's is fantastic.
It's just so good.
And you get to keep the cups.
Yeah, we have so many.
Yeah, and then by the end of the year, you got like a stack of them.
That's like the Belmont like trademark, is everyone has just like at least 5 McDougal cups in their cabinet.
Yes. Yes. And it seems like everyone I've talked to, like literally 5 of the 8 people that I've had sit on this couch have graced Belmont's campus. I think you're the only. I don't know if David graduated. I totally forgot if David graduated.
I think he did.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But yeah, some have graduated, some haven't. The dropout rate is pretty
I almost
high.
dropped out so many times.
Really?
It was like the ongoing joke in my friend group, because they're like, "Oh, here goes Linsey again."
What is the main reason do you think that people drop out?
I mean, when
it's
you do
avid, it's
yeah.
everywhere.
Well, for me, it was like, I just want to be like doing it already. You know what I mean? Like when you're at Belmont, it's like, well, shit, I can't go to this because I have fucking class, you know? And it's like, well, why am I in that class? Because I'm trying to be a songwriter. So then why am I not going to the right?
Yeah.
You know?
By year 3, you've made connections.
Yeah.
And
But I'm so glad that I stuck it through, because I owe so much to Belmont. And I know a lot of people hate on Belmont, but that's because they weren't maximizing on literally the endless resources that were provided. I mean, everything I owe to Belmont, basically. Like, I wouldn't have been in Goodie Bag. I wouldn't have. There's just so much, and now I have a list of professors who all have industry experience in every different sector of the industry, where if I'm in trouble, or if I need advice, I can contact. Like, that's insane. That's like so valuable. And but I mean, yeah, there's just a lot of times where I was like frustrated. Like, it was just time management. Like, oh, I can't do this because I have school. Well, why am I in school? It's because I want to be an artist, or I want to write music. So why am I not doing the thing? That's like, I think that's why a lot of people drop out, because like it just gets too hard.
Yeah.
To like do it all.
Yeah. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I personally didn't go to college, and when I moved here, I just had to support myself. And as much as I would like to get into the music industry, it just kind of, it would have to be all or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like it would have to be all or nothing. And yeah, that's just how it goes. All right, well, there's dead air. There's actually some headlines that, if in case I have dead air, crazy news stories. Car crashes into Taylor Swift's home after police chase. Yep.
That's insane. Is she all right?
It
I mean, I'm sure she's all right.
A stolen... yeah.
Taylor's a busy girl.
A stolen car crashed into the gates of Taylor Swift beachfront Rhode Island home Tuesday morning following a police chase that started in a neighborhood town. Started at 1 a.m. No license plate. The pursuit reached speeds of 65 miles an hour. It's unclear whether Taylor Swift, who had recently reported trouble with stalking, was home or not. The occupants of the vehicle knew who owned the home.
Wow.
Three of the car's occupants, the 19-year-old driver, 18-year-old man, and a 16-year-old boy, were taken to the hospital with what were described as non-life-threatening injuries. A fourth, age 18, fled on foot but was tracked down. I mean, what are you going to do, run from the police?
Imagine,
in
you're
2022?
in a cop car and they're like, you know whose house you just ran into?
They're like, oh, we didn't know. Wow.
Did you see, I saw on Twitter, apparently there's like this nurse, and she was like, guys, Rihanna is having her baby. They just cleared the floor that I work on, and then she commented like, it's a boy. So
I had no idea that Rihanna had her baby.
maybe not. That could have been a straight up rumor, but
Could've
that's
been a
just what I
troll.
saw this morning.
Topless Tinder man's ridiculous list of demands from women gets massively mocked.
Oh my. Oh.
Sorry I had to show you that. His name is Chad, which is very fitting.
Yep, that
He's
makes sense.
26 years old, looking for the perfect woman and won't accept anything less. His Tinder profile is doing the rounds where you can see the demands for yourself. They're numerous and pretty steep. For example, would you ditch nights out with your friends, all for some bloke? Unfortunately, Chad expects you to. The profile found its way to Reddit. Here is his bio.
Oh my gosh. That's lengthy.
So the very top, I might just have to post a picture of this. Must be to my standards. Must. He capitalizes must twice. Okay.
I'm scared.
Be blonde or brunette. Fit and toned. Goes to the gym 2 times weekly. No more than 5'6", no less than 5'2" in height. Be available at all times.
No lies.
What? Give good and call me anything I want. Be able to cook and clean. Non-smoker, non-alcoholic, no druggies. What a fucking loser. Devote as much time to me as possible. Have a steady income around $70,000 a year.
Gosh. But she's not. She has to be available at all times. Yeah.
So, I mean, available. So she runs an OnlyFans. She works from home. You're great. Have own apartment that I can crash at occasionally.
So that tells me that he doesn't make $70K a year. And
Yeah.
that he needs help.
You must not approach other men, smoke, drink, or do drugs. He already
That's very
he already
important
said
to
that.
him.
You must not go to the club or girls' night out. If you fit this criteria, swipe right.
This is why I don't do dating apps.
Exactly.
They scare me.
Wow.
Because I'm not. I fit the height criteria, I will say.
Woman rescued after falling into toilet while trying to retrieve phone at the top of Mount Walker in Washington State.
So she got stuck?
She did.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
A woman had to be rescued by firefighters after falling into a toilet, trying to find her mobile phone that she had actually been accidentally been dropped into it. The woman was not named. Shocker.
Woman who shall not be named.
Northwest Seattle, Washington. I wouldn't want my name out there either.
Absolutely not.
She
How
had-
did this make a headline?
She
Like,
had-
who followed this story?
I did. I follow this. She had been using her phone when it suddenly fell into a vault toilet. A vault toilet is a non-flush toilet, which is constructed with a vault or sealed container that is buried deep within the ground. Yes, yes.
Oh no.
Woman in her 40s managed...
Absolutely not. Yeah, ew. God,
Aged in
people
her
are weird.
40s, managed to take the toilet seat off and use dog leads to try to get the phone. When this didn't work, she used the leads to tie herself to the toilet, and as she reached for it, but this resulted in her falling in head first. It didn't work. He added, the woman tried to get out for 10 to 15 minutes as she was on her own. Then she called 911 after being reunited with her phone. So she got her phone,
Oh,
but was still stuck. So
that's so unfortunate. All right, next one. Next story. I don't want to think about this anymore.
Woman
Metallica baby.
woman gives birth at Brazil Stadium as Metallica plays Enter Sandman.
Wait, what stadium? Because I was just at a Brazilian stadium. What? That's crazy. Imagine they're like at Now United
the
show.
Couto Pereira?
I don't remember the name of the
Pereira
one I was
Stadium,
at.
Brazil's southern state of Parana.
Okay, no, I wasn't at that one. I was at one in Rio. Whoa, that's crazy.
That's wild.
Wow. Yeah, Brazil's very like dedicated. She probably knew she was gonna have that baby soon, but she was like, gotta go see my.
That's a risk.
My favorite
9
band.
months pregnant. I'm gonna go be in a super dense yeah.
What a way to enter the world.
Yes. And enter Sandman.
Yeah. At Metallica.
That is wonderful. Yeah.
Wow.
So what shows did you go to? You said you went to a show in Brazil?
Yeah, well, I went because my brother was on tour, and so that was their first arena tour. They played in Brazil, all over, and then they played in Portugal. So I went for the shows in Brazil, and I also did some of my own press, and I did a meet and greet, which was super amazing, and I also made that lyric video for More Fun
Yeah?
in Sao Paulo, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So you're not signed to anyone.
No, I'm not signed.
Would you, is that something that you would consider doing, or are you planning on going independent?
It's a good question. It really all depends. I personally think that the only reason you should be signing to like a major label is if you're a star and you're trying to be a superstar. But
Mhm.
if you're, I don't think personally it's the best business decision when you're like not a star yet,
Yeah.
'Cause I mean, all it really is a loan, pretty much, and then you spend the rest of your term trying to recoup it.
Mhm.
But I mean, there's also a lot of perks, obviously, by being signed by a label. I mean,
Guaranteed money.
yeah, and that's like you can't be nominated for awards if you're not under a label, and that's
Oh wait,
how-
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Don't they have independent art? An independent artist has never won any.
I think you have to be. I'm pretty sure you have to. Yeah, no, you have to be represented by a label to be nominated for like the Grammys or.
I had no idea.
Mm-hmm. So there's stuff like that. I mean, that's the dream, to be like in that realm one day. But all I can do right now is just focus on my solo project and making it the best it can be, so that maybe those doors will open for myself. And I'm also writing for a lot of other artists. I could definitely see myself. Yeah. So
That's exciting.
yeah, that's like my favorite thing. That's where my heart is. Always
Right.
has been.
Nice.
But I could see myself getting into publishing, like maybe a pub deal. That would be really cool. And yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's definitely I'm not against it. Like I just want to make sure that if I were to ever sign a deal, it's like the best decision for my career at that point in time. I don't want to just like be like, "Oh my gosh, I got offered this deal and that's what I should be doing, so I'm going to do it." Like
Yeah.
I went to Belmont for 4 years and studied this stuff. So like I want to put my degree to use and make sure I'm doing it
Mm-hmm.
the best I can.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. And so, what local what local artists or bands are you gonna miss? You know, do you who are like your closest friends in the music industry today?
Yeah. There's this band called the Revelries that I'm like so close with. Their guitarist Logan Maggio is my producer, and I write a lot with Bo, and John's like one of my best friends. I love those guys. Really gonna miss them. Those are like my best friends.
Were those the guys that were playing with you at Exit In?
Yeah,
okay.
I basically just stole their band. And yeah, and then Knox Morris, he's a writer I work with a lot. I love the Thing with Feathers guys. We kind of like started out together. I mean, we played shows at Belmont all the time together. But then also too, there's a lot of artists that I love who are already in LA, like Graham from Hardcastle, and one of my favorite people I write with, her name is Jules Paymer, incredible artist. She's moving to LA the same day I'm moving to LA. So I'm trying to get everyone over there. Also too, Nate Miles, he's incredible producer. He is with Smack, one of my best friends. I was with him last night and we were just talking, like, you know, that move to LA is like, for a lot of people in Nashville, it's like it's gonna happen eventually. It's just like a matter of when, not if. Yeah. And so I hope I start like the chain reaction, because I'm so sad. I'm gonna miss so many people here. I've been so blessed by like such a great community.
And you know, I can't I guess talk about California without also talking about just how goddamn expensive it is.
I know.
I mean, and it's getting worse, especially with this economic I mean, we're about to, I feel like, come up on a recession. That's what a lot of people are predicting. You know, the West Coast from like, you know, Arizona on, I'm just guessing, I think we'll have the highest gas prices.
Oh, yeah.
So, are you more of like a New York girl or well, I guess you're from California, but I guess that's an easy one. Shoot.
Well, I went to New York for the first time, like, was it last weekend? For the first time ever.
Was it for shows or just to hang out?
Just to hang.
Okay.
I met up with this girl that helps me a lot with like management and stuff, and we kind of talked about my next release, and she showed me around New York a little bit, and I met up with my best friend Tylen. So it was like a little bit of work, but mostly play.
Yes. Yes. What are what other cities do you like to play in? Have you so have you done like a tour before?
I did. We did when I was in Goodie Bag. We did like a mini tour in California. We played in San Diego, LA, and around Orange County. That was so cool for me. That was like a dream come true, you know, because we only played in Nashville. We've played in Chicago. I love Chicago.
Yes.
I would love to play there again.
That's where I'm from.
Really?
Yeah.
What part?
Well, I say Chicago because it just makes it easier. I'm from the suburbs outside of Chicago.
Which one?
Aurora.
Okay.
Naperville area.
Naperville. That's where my roommate's from.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my friend Nate.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss it so much. I haven't been there in like a decade.
Really?
Yeah, born and raised there. Can't wait to go back. I don't miss the weather. There's only 3 good months to visit Chicago.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much right now until maybe at the end of August.
Those are the only times I've visited.
I mean, and I remember being a child, and they literally, I don't know how they got this word out. They canceled Halloween one year because there was too much snow.
Oh my gosh, that's
yes,
so sad.
There was one year where it started snowing in October. It's like winter could not wait.
Wow.
And my folks live in Alabama, and like last Christmas, like we had the doors open, letting the breeze in. It's so wonderful, and it's a beautiful day, beautiful Sunday morning. I might add.
Yeah, it really is.
Are you a morning person? Do you wake up early? I kind of have a hard time scheduling these. I'm like, do they sleep until noon? Are they up early with the sun, or what?
Naturally, I'm definitely a night owl. I always have been. But the older I get, the more I'm trying to like offset that, because I feel like I'm most productive in the morning.
Yes.
But I've always been a night person. I love staying up late. It's bad. But I mean, that doesn't mean I'm not one to like sleep in till noon. That's not me either. But it takes me like a good 30 minutes for my eyes to like fully open.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, once I'm up, I'm up. No, I need my time. I need my coffee.
Yeah, I was about to say, how do you like your coffee?
I like it with a little bit of oat milk creamer.
Okay.
And that's it.
Did you hear about the guy that glued his hand onto the Starbucks counter in protest? I forgot what the actor's name is. It was for like the milk, like the surcharge for the alternative milk, and he was just, I don't know, he was livid about it, and in protest, this famous actor just glued his hand onto the Starbucks counter.
A famous actor?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he'll be fine with the upcharge. It was an upcharge, or
it was, yeah. I mean, it was like a milk alternative surcharge, I guess, because they charge more for like the almond milk.
Oh, they do.
And the whatnot.
Honestly, I stand with that because I get frustrated by that too.
And in response, Starbucks got rid of the surcharge for the alternative milk. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So now oat milk costs the same as
that's
the
big.
other stuff. Yeah.
That's true. Don't be prejudiced towards oat milk. Don't make me
and
pay
just
more.
think about how long it took humanity. This is so embarrassing to be a human. It took us until like the 2000s to come up with milk alternatives like almond milk and oat milk. I mean, I feel like that would have been an easy alternative. Like someone a long time ago would have figured it out.
Yeah.
You know,
right?
They were making all kinds of weird butters and I don't know, but almond milk's my favorite.
Yeah, almond milk is good. I'm an oat milk girl. Soy milk is good too. I don't think it's as good for you though. But I'm all for those alternative milks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When any kind of strict diets, I remember when I was a kid, my dad challenged us, or he was like on this kick, and we were not allowed to buy like 2% or whole milk or anything like that. Really? Yeah, and he heard something. It was like he had gotten on some like health kick, and he heard about what was actually in milk, and for like a solid year or two, we did not have any cow's milk in the fridge. And then my brother Carson goes to like we're on vacation and it's someone else's, it's like a friend's house, and they have cereal and milk, and he's like, finally, after 2 years I can finally have cereal.
Oh my gosh.
Eats this big bowl of like Lucky Charms or whatever, and it him up.
I believe it.
He ran downstairs to hide from my dad because he didn't want him to know. He didn't want to give him the joy of. So, Dad, I know that you're definitely watching. Yeah, it's probably a good thing in hindsight that he took away the milk.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So kind of getting back to your previous or your upbringing, I guess. Remind me what mom and dad do. What does your dad do?
Yeah, my dad, he's a contractor.
In
California.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. He does he builds Walmarts. He does houses. He does it all. He mainly does drywall.
Okay, nice. Yeah. And so he owns it?
Yes, he owns his own company. Ooh. And then my mom, she is actually a modeling agent.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, but she didn't start doing that till the past couple years. Growing up, she had a company called Late Package Recovery, but COVID took her business, so she started working in the modeling world. So yeah, it's a family affair.
That's a change.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
sure.
Big switch.
Yeah. What was lockdown like for you? Did that give you just plenty of time to lock in and write?
You would think, but it was weird. Like, I think every musician can relate to this, but I feel like it was so hard to hone in because, I mean, you're dealing with all this anxiety of what the hell is going on, and then you're not really inspired because you're not living life.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're scared, so you want to spend time with your family because I was in California for a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
and I did work on music, especially me and my brother were in the same place, so we were working on stuff, and we when I was still in Goodie Bag at the time, so we did like we did some videos of our songs live, but we like split screen. That was really cool. But yeah, I wasn't nearly as motivated as I wish I was, but also too, like my whole band was in Chicago and I was in California, so like what were we gonna do with that distance? And we weren't in the same room, and I don't know, COVID was weird. I mean, thankfully my family is okay, and but creatively it kind of like stunted me personally. I didn't really like go balls to the wall at the time with music, which bums me out because it would have been, looking back, like I wish I kind of maximized more on it. But I mean, I also am giving myself grace because like what was I supposed to do with the little resources I had? But post COVID, oh my gosh, I've written so much music since. And that's what's exciting about this year is getting to finally share that music. And I have another song coming out in a few weeks, May 27th, called Unraveling. Post COVID, I think COVID made post COVID, well, obviously, but because we were all cooped up and like not being creative, once life kind of started to pick up again, like the creativity was just like through the roof for me. Like so inspired, so much juice to work. And I'm really proud of like the music I made the last year, and I can't wait to like continuously be putting these songs out. But and I feel like too, after COVID, like life just felt so vibrant because we were just so much more grateful for like everything. So I think that's kind of heard in my music a little bit.
It's kind of like you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Yeah, dude.
And it also kind of when things first started to get scary, it's like, oh, like safety is an illusion in a lot of ways. If you would have asked me, 5-6 years ago, if anything cataclysmic like a pandemic or someone tried to another terrorist attack, do you think that the US government would be able to prevent something like that, or we'd be able to handle it well? I would have said yes, like 100%. And it kind of exposed all the cracks in the system, and it exposed a lot of corruption. 14 or 15 new billionaires got added to the list, so it wasn't all bad for everyone. But
jeez,
14 or something new billionaires. And if only you had known to invest in that mask company in 2019, you wouldn't have had to work for the rest of your life.
Well, on my way to New York, I sat next to this doctor from Louisiana, and it was his first year. His first year in the field was 2020.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were just talking about his experience, and he told me what was hard from the medical standpoint was because, a lot of people were pointing fingers at, the medical field, saying like, you guys change your opinion all the time. Like they would release a statement and then a week later. But he was telling me, he was like, because we knew just as much as you did at that point in time. And so, but they didn't want to, like, it was just hard because, they're doing their best too. But because we knew nothing about this virus, and because they're constantly getting new data or like learning new things or dealing with a new variant, things were just constantly changing. But to the public, it created like mistrust, and it created a sense of, it made people feel like the medical world was being dishonest, when in reality they were just doing the best they could at that point in time with the data they had at that point in time. So I mean, it goes back to that human aspect where like, if you sat down with a doctor and they explained that, you would be like, okay, cool, I trust you, I feel good, you probably have the most educated opinion. But because this is all virtual, and because this was all online. It was like so messy.
And it got politicized.
Yeah, dude.
Immediately.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Immediately.
We don't need to go down that road, but
yes.
it did, which is like it makes no sense. Like how did that get? I don't know. Whatever.
Anything. Never let a crisis go to waste, I believe the saying is.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, something to a lighter topic. What Disney character do you most identify with?
I'm so dead. That was quite the jump. Man.
Keep you on your toes.
Oh man, that's a good question. I gotta think about that one. I've like nannied all through college, so I've seen a lot of these movies fresh recently. Man.
It's okay, take your time.
Okay,
'Cause
yeah, give me a second.
I can snip it out, the dead air.
What do you think? No, I'm just kidding. You got like the old princesses who their one objective in life was to like fall in love and find their prince. But then you have like Disney's new wave where they're like independent. It's all about like sister bonds and like but then that sometimes that's like I'm like, well, I still want to like get married one day, you know? So oh man, I like Belle.
I was gonna say the Beast.
The Beast.
Yes.
That one feels most true to me.
I loved watching Beauty and the Beast. Apparently, I watched it like over and over and over again, because I was just like I loved the Beast. And now that I should probably rewatch it.
Fun fact.
I'm sure it would.
I've done that musical 3 times.
Seriously?
Yeah, growing up. I was like a huge theater kid, and I was Belle, I was Mrs. Potts, and I was the silly girl. So I know that story like in and out. When I watch the movie, I can quite literally say like every single line. It's bad.
That's wonderful. Now, what are some of your favorite Disney movies? If you can't identify with the character.
Yeah. I love The Incredibles. Number 2 specifically. The first one's great too, but number 2 just really rocked my world. Saw it in theaters like 3 times. I love
the new Minions trailer. Looks amazing.
Oh, I
Have you
haven't seen that yet.
It's awesome.
I love Princess and the Frog because I really like Louisiana. So I don't know. I just watched that the other day and I was like, man, this is a good movie. Soul. I guess that's Pixar. Same world. Soul's so good.
Yeah.
That movie's like insane. So deep.
What's the guitar one? Coco?
Oh yeah,
Coco.
That's a good one. That's a big one in my family. My little cousins love that movie.
Other animated movies. Have you seen are you like superheroes? Have you seen Into the Spider-Verse?
I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good. We actually we just watched Endgame. I watched Endgame for the first time like 2 weeks ago.
Did you
or
cry?
something like that. No. I don't really cry in movies, but
I did.
I just got so after I loved Iron Man and obviously Thor Ragnarok was probably my favorite Marvel movie. But some of them was like cash grabs and I didn't really.
Yeah, I just saw the multiverse, Doctor Strange.
I want to see that.
That movie was insane.
Yes.
Like, it's getting a lot of hate.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of my friends didn't like it, but I thought it was one of the trippiest movies I've ever seen.
Yes.
It was so, like, my friends and I, when we were watching it, we just, like, kept looking at each other like, what's going on?
Yes.
But, yeah, I love Marvel movies. I kind of grew up with them. I have 2 brothers, so, like, that was just what we did. We just always went and saw them with our cousin. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but I'm a big Captain America fan.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Nice.
Oh yeah,
Chris Evans.
Woo-wee. Has my heart.
What'd you think of the new Batman?
I didn't like it.
Oh.
I know, it was way too long. Oh my gosh.
It was super long.
I was like kept thinking there'd be like Batman would be like raising the civilian like to the helicopter and he's like looking and I'm like, okay, it's over. And then there's like 4 more scenes after that. And then every scene I was like, okay, this is surely the last scene. And then they'd open another scene and I was like, come on, like let's wrap this shit up. I want to go.
Yeah.
I was getting so annoyed. But yeah, I'm not really I mean, The Dark Knight is like iconic, but
it's top 5 for me.
It's so funny. That's like so many no offense, but like I hear that all the time. It's just such like a loved movie. Heath Ledger is like
he makes it.
my man.
It wouldn't have been as good if it wasn't him. He's meant to be.
Yeah. No, that movie's incredible.
He just like immersed himself in it.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's sad to like
Yeah.
a point of no return.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are you good at trivia?
No.
Oh.
I'm only good at the music section.
Yeah.
That's like the one section that my friends bring me for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would like to introduce some kind of segment to make the show interesting, like bring up funny news stories or trivia. Do you listen to podcasts at all? Are
I
you
listen to like Song Exploder, like behind the lyric podcasts, but
Nice.
nothing like, or like sometimes I'll get into like a murder mystery podcast. but
true crime kind of stuff?
True crime stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I have a very dark side of me that loves to, learn about serial killers, and
It's fascinating.
it is very
Mhm.
fascinating. Zac Efron's performance of what's his name? Gosh, I can't remember his name. The really good-looking serial killer.
Oh, no. I almost said Jeff Dunham. Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy, that's
Uh-huh.
it. Jeez, gosh. But man, like, who knew that like this charismatic guy would I don't know.
Right?
It's scary. And
Fascinating.
the John Wayne Gacy docuseries just came out. I want to watch that one.
Have you seen Don't F with Cats?
I almost wish I didn't.
Same. But like it's like one of those things you just can't stop watching.
And you can't unsee
yeah.
the bag, the cat in the bag. Just so.
So bad.
And the dedication of those people, like
I know.
they just totally
The power of the internet.
brought it upon themselves to investigate and find this dude.
Yeah, that was insane.
Crazy stuff. What other like Netflix miniseries or series do you like? We just finished Queen's Gambit.
Oh,
Or we're on the
good.
last episode of Queen's Gambit.
that's a great show. I love Outer Banks. I've never seen it before. I'm watching for the first time Sex and the City on HBO. I'm like obsessed right now. But man, I honestly don't have like a lot of free time to watch TV. But I was like really into Grey's Anatomy in college, and I like Dave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you like stand-up comedy?
I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Because his manager in that show is one of my favorite stand-up comedians, Andrew Santino. They did a really good job with Dave. They're filming it now, actually.
Yeah.
Have you seen Atlanta?
I haven't. I know everyone tells me I need to watch that.
Donald
get into
Glover
it.
is
Yeah. My brother, he was just in a Netflix movie called Metal Lords. You should watch it. Mm-hmm.
Metal Lords.
Yes.
Wow.
It just
What's
came
that
out.
about?
It's about these kids in high school who want to start a metal band.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is he one of the main characters?
He's like probably like the fourth
Lead.
main
okay.
character. Yeah. But yeah,
Nice.
super good.
He's on
Great movie.
Netflix. Wow.
It's cool to see my brother on Netflix. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Well, we're exactly at an hour.
Amazing.
That
Thank
works
you
out-
for having
That
me.
works out perfectly. Yes.
Yeah. It was nice to chat with you
Yes,
guys.
Lindsay, it was so great to meet you. I see you going places. Really, I think you have a bright future ahead, and I think California will help. And get to be closer to your dad. Obviously, with your family being all kind of like scattered around.
Yeah.
So that's good that you'll be able to, be close to family again.
Yeah, that's
so you're excited
important.
about being with family.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be back with family,
Nice.
and
That's good.
I think for the music I do too, LA will be super great, and yeah, it's a big change, but I'm here for it, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good year, and yeah, thank you for having me
Yeah.
and talking to me about everything.
Yes. It's so good to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you
All right.
too.